So, welcome, Team Nailed It, to our third annual Ugly Sweater Party. What's up? And it's okay if you're not wearing an ugly sweater party. We love you anyways. I mean, if you're not wearing an ugly sweater, not an ugly sweater party. But I see some of you guys wearing awesome ugly sweaters. I'm excited to see them all. So I am wearing my ugly necklace. And then also I have this shirt that says, let there be pizza on earth. This is the best part of this sweater. I love it so much. So that's what I'm wearing right now. I want to see what you guys are wearing. So who wants to show off their awesome outfit? Paula, I mean, you kind of look amazing. Let me see that hat you've got on here. Unmute yourself. Here, let me see if I can unmute.
I'm nursing a baby, so I can't show you the full thing. But
the full deal. Okay, later.
Yeah. I see there's a baby hand on me. So he's asleep. I just have to give it a few minutes to like lay him down, but I'll show you the rest of it in a bit. But it has a little dingle on the hat and the
love your hat. So fun.
And it's a hoodie. Like it's part of the I love it.
It's a hoodie.
Yeah, it's a
I need this in my life.
Yeah, it's awesome. I love it.
That's so fun. Ugly sweater hoodie. Who doesn't want that? Okay, and Becca, I see you've got a lovely hat on. Let me see your hat, girlfriend. Oh, you have elf ears.
Yeah, it's got elf ears, but I actually don't own an ugly sweater or ugly Christmas sweater. So I just have my baby. It's cold outside.
Cute.
It's the hat.
But the hat is where it's at. And Diane, you're rocking an awesome headband. That's pretty sweet.
Yes, thank you. And I got my sweater on too.
My word. This is awesome. Wait, we gotta zoom into that.
Okay, hold on. Let me figure out if you can. I don't know how to make it work.
My word.
What it is it's like an actual mop head that is like turned into a doll, like a girl, like Mrs. Claus. And then she's hold on. Let me get up here so you can see it. See? The jingle bells and the lights and the garland.
Oh my word. That is incredible.
It's handmade. It's one of a kind.
Handmade. Like, did you hand make it or did you buy it from someone?
My mom. So actually, yeah, but way back when, like in 2005, we started an ugly sweater business. So we actually like make ugly sweaters, and we were making them in Dallas. And like as fast as we could make them, everybody was wanting them because they weren't like all over the stores like they are now. And so we started making just different kind of fun stuff and stuff like that. So and so we used to do that like way back when. Now I live in Charlotte, but I was like, I gotta have an ugly sweater. So my mom, made me this masterpiece.
This mop head masterpiece. That is a masterpiece. Can you guys hear me okay? It's saying my connection's unstable.
I can.
Okay, good. All right. Well, hopefully. Well, I don't know if anyone can top that, Diane. I don't know. Is anyone else? Oh, Paula's ready now. Show us, Paula. Let's see it. Oh, never mind. She went away. Oh,
phone call.
There you go.
One of those phone calls. Okay, so mine is just, it's not as good as the last one, but I like it. It says follow llama.
Oh my gosh, it's a llama. I love it. What does the top say? Follow llama.
Follow llama.
Oh, that is fun.
Llama's wearing heart glasses and it has a little scar. But this was what won me over.
Right, the hoodie part.
The hoodie.
That is so good.
Yeah,
so
I
good.
love it. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Anyone else have one
to
share? Oh, Angie, I see you. Show us, girl. Wait, I'm unmuting you. There you go.
It's Phoebe's Christmas song from Friends. Monica, have a happy Hanukkah.
Oh my gosh, I love that. That's so fun.
wear it from December 1st to December 25th, pretty much. So
Pretty much all the days. I know. I'm just going to be rubbing myself all day long with my pizza sweater. It's so fun. Well, thanks, you guys. And I see, Ashley, you have a necklace kind of like mine. Good job, girl. What?
So there's no ugly sweater weather.
That's all right. You representing with the lights, eh? Okay, well, I'm so glad you guys hopped on. I'm excited to chat with you about our favorite personal development books and business books from the year 2019, which I can't believe is almost ending. So I thought I would go first. I was trying to think, it's so hard to pick. Did anyone else have a really hard time picking their favorite personal development book? I was like, I've read some really good ones this year, and I was like, oh, but I loved this about this one and this. But here's how I narrowed it down for me. I decided which book had the most impact on me, meaning like it kind of made me take action, which I feel like that's the whole point of reading these personal development books. And the one that made me actually take action the most was An Intentional Life. And and you guys, I actually don't have it in front of me. It's on Kindle. I read it on Kindle. Plus I also get the Audible narration. That way I always have a book in my pocket for when I'm like out and about, waiting in a waiting room or whatever. So it's An Intentional Life, and it's by Karen Stott. And the subtitle is A Life-Giving Invitation to Uncover Your Possessions and Unlock Your Purpose. So, and let me just make sure, is everybody muted? Somebody is not muted. There we go. I'm muting someone. Okay. So that was probably the one that had the most impact on me. Did any of you guys read that? I think some of you guys read that with me. Becca, you read that too. So I want to hear your thoughts on it too. But so I'll tell you guys why, like what action it made me take. So probably a few of the things, 3 of the things that it really made me do. Because she just talks about being more intentional, and that's actually going to be my word for 2020. I highly recommend you all choose a word for the year. My word for 2019 was relate, because I wanted to focus on relating with others and building relationships and strengthening relationships. And so that was my word this year, but next year it's going to be intentional, because, and I feel like I do this fairly well, is just trying to live my life and and run my business very intentionally, but I want to be intentional with my intentionality. So I'm like really like super focusing on that for 2020, just because I think you can really evaluate, when you take a step back, you can really evaluate if you're being intentional in all aspects of life, not just business, but in, your parenting and in your marriage, and even in the way you're decorating, and in your, like, the way you dress, your style. So again, that book was called An Intentional Life by Karen Stott. And so overall, I think the book just really made me evaluate like what, about being intentional. And so one of the things it made me do was just kind of take a step back. And so I actually stopped. I was actually running a book club. I ended up running that book club for a minute because I had, because my daughter is a senior this year, and she's moving out very soon, sooner than probably in a couple months. And so I just really wanted to maximize on my time with her. And so that's been a big focus of mine this last quarter. And so that book just really made me like take a step back and be like, wait, where is my time going? And so some of the changes I made was I kind of took a break from my Empower Her book club. And then another thing I did was I changed my team meetings. They were at nights, but again, I want to have my evenings with my family. And I felt like I was already, I mean, it's already busy at night anyways. So I felt like, if I'm doing a team meeting at night, like that's just one more thing that's pulling me away from my family. So I decided to make my team meetings during my work hours, which are while my kids are at school. And so that was being more intentional. I'm really happy I made that decision, even though it is a little inconvenient for others. But again, that's why we work our business, right? So that we have the flexibility to work around our priorities and around the lifestyle we want. And then another thing that she said that I've been really trying to work on, and gosh, this is hard, is she said, and I don't know if you remember this part, Becca, but she said she almost tries to, and this is a challenge for me. I really got to do better at this, but she tries to make it so her kids don't even really know she has a phone. So she says when she uses she'll like hide in the garage if she needs to use her phone, like be on her phone and stuff, because when her kids come home from school, she wants to be present with them. She doesn't want them to have memories of like mom on the phone 24/7, right? Which is freaking hard when you run your business on your phone, right? But I was like, gosh, that's a really great goal and something to work towards. And so I am striving. I'm so not perfect at it, but just striving to not be on my phone as much when they're home and like kind of like hide it. Like, you know what I mean? Because I just don't want them to have that like mental picture, like looking back and thinking when they think about their mom, they just think about me on my phone. That's not what I want. So that was the second thing. And then the third thing was, and this was just a good reminder. So she does these, I can't remember, Becca, you'll have to tell me if you remember the name that she called it, but she does like a getaway with her husband, like a goal setting getaway. Once a year. And I remembered that my husband and I used to do this every January. We would go to a hotel overnight and we would sit down and like write out our goals, and look at our budget and talk about what trips we wanted to go on and things like that. And we didn't do that in 2019. And so after I read that book, my husband and I went on a trip and just sat down and talked a lot about, our family goals. And so that was really great. We try to do a getaway once a quarter as a couple, and that's been amazing. That was some advice we got when we first got married, and that's been amazing advice. But making one of those, I recommend doing it in January, a goal setting getaway where you get together. We do this, it's important to have a business plan, right? But to have a family plan, okay, let's be intentional with what vacations we want to go on and what we want to save up for and what we want to pay off and, just different things like that. Where are we? What could we work on as parents? What could we do better? So I loved that idea, and I'm definitely going to make sure to do a little goal setting getaway in January with my husband. So those were three big things that I actually took action on and am striving to continue doing. So that I just really like that book. I'll share a couple favorite quotes from it, and then I'm going to turn the time over to you guys because I want to hear all your favorite books too. But shoot, I had a list. Where did they go? Here we go. I loved this quote. It said, "What screws us up the most in life is the picture in our head of what it's supposed to be." I think we always have this vision of what it's supposed to be and sort of just embracing what it is. She also talked a lot about our calling, and that our calling is that not labeling ourselves with job titles, but and I can't remember what she said about titles, but it was more just what our strengths are and what we're naturally good at, and how we can help others with it. So a calling is not necessarily a job title, and not defining ourselves by our job titles. Do you remember that part, Becca? I'm curious what your thoughts are on that part, if you remember that. The, hang on, I'm unmute. There you go.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. So I honestly didn't finish that book because it was very hard hitting. It was very like eye opening to what I really needed to hear.
Mm-hmm.
But I do remember, about some of those things. The essentialism. Sorry, essentialism is actually what I read after that, and that was it. Really like coincided. So
They went well. They did go well together. Let me read you a couple more quotes from her book that were so good. She said, I love this one. It said, contentment is essentially a matter of accepting, which I love because I 100% agree. Sometimes just accepting what is makes us content. She also just had a lot of really cute ideas for like with kids, where she says they never pass up a photo booth, which I thought was so cute, because who doesn't love a good photo booth photo? She helps her kids grow gardens in the spring. They do like trips to their family like cabin. They do I like highlighted some of the good like mom ideas. She said that she did dates with her kids, which is something I used to do and I kind of sucked at in 2019. But I mean, we did move this year, so I'm going to give myself a little grace there. But anyways, it was a really great book. And it had a lot of impact on me. So that one was mine. By the way, you guys, I forgot to tell you, we're doing the winner of the Ugly Sweater Party. I want you guys to comment. Those of you guys that saw all the ugly sweaters, comment with your favorite ugly sweater. And the winner is going to get this book that I read this year. It's called Own Your Everyday. It's by Jordan Lee Dooley. So they're going to get a copy of this one. So comment below with the name of the winner, and I will announce the winner at the end before we wrap up. Okay, so Becca, do you want to share since you were talking about essentialism, was that the book you were going to share, or which book had the most impact on you in 2019?
That was my book. I mean, like, oh gosh, I think all of them, it was really hard to choose.
Seriously.
So many, but I think hand in hand, An Intentional Life and Essentialism really helped. I think Essentialism was, like that quote said, and maybe I should have just finished the book, but An Intentional Life. And I think I'm in a place that I can now. Essentialism, and right now I'm reading Loving What Is. And so what you talking about contentment, as far as accepting what is happening, just reality, is, really, it's life-changing. So An Intentional Life and Essentialism. Actually, it was Essentialism when sorry, I'm still so emotional about it. It's actually what helped me to realize I need to take a step. I need to take stuff off my plate. Just like you were saying about, that you need to step back from Empower. I need to I am taking a step away from photography. So, and that's after 11 years, that's a huge.
It is, because we, like she said in the intentional book, we kind of define ourselves by our titles. And so it's kind of hard and I've done this before because I'm a serial entrepreneur. So I've done this before with several different jobs where I'm like, this defines me. I am this, my job title is me. And then when I stripped it away, it was like, oh shoot, I'm Kelly. You know what I mean? And it doesn't matter what my job title is. But it's hard. It's really hard.
Yeah, that was mine. That's it.
Yes, Essentialism is such a good book. I've read it 2 times. It's by Greg McKeown. I don't know how to say his last name. It's McKeown, but
Yeah.
it's a really good read because he just talks about doing less but better. You need to listen to him on Audible because he has the cutest British accent and he's really fun to listen to. But that is an amazing book as well because it talks about just, and it makes you feel better about, you know what? It makes me feel better about focusing on income producing activities and not getting caught in all the fluff or all the conversations or all the notifications because those aren't making me money, and just just focusing on the things that are really important to you. And what's important to me is going to look different than what's important to you and you and you, so it's a really good book. Love that one. It's one of my favorites as well, Becca. Anyone else want to share?
I'll share.
Okay, let's hear it, girl.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Can you hear me? I don't know if it's working.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay. So I read a book, I listened to a book that was called Emotional Agility. It was so good. This woman, and she has an amazing accent too, so it's really fun to listen to her. She's from South Africa. But she just talks about how to be emotionally agile, like how to feel your emotions, how important it is to honor our emotions and process our emotions. And one of my favorite things, she talks a lot about like fear and courage, and she talks about how courage isn't being fearless, courage is fear walking. And I just feel like that was like the biggest thing. I was like, yeah, like you can still have fear, like courage is walking with fear, being afraid and doing it anyways. And that was probably like one of the most powerful things that she said that's just stayed with me since I listened to it, was just that. And she has a TED Talk too. I can't remember her name though. But if you look up emotional agility, you'll find her. She's amazing. It was just so good. So good.
That's awesome. I feel like that's something I've been learning a lot this year from my daughter. She has lots of emotions, but she's really good at processing a lot of them. And sometimes I'm like, ain't nobody got time to process emotions. And so she's been teaching me to just like feel the feels, just like get them out instead of like burying them. It's easy to like, no, I'm too busy. I'm going to bury all my feelings. And then eventually they're going to manifest, or they're going to be toxic in your body and you're going to be like achy and you know what I mean? They're going to affect your health. So I'm all about like getting out all the feelings and like exercising out the stress and just like getting things out, either talk it out or I don't know what you'll have to tell some of the tools she shared, but like talking it out, writing it out, working, exercising it out.
Yeah, I mean, she talked about, she lost her father when she was in like high school to cancer. And she just talks about how one of her teachers told her to start writing and how that was so useful for her to be able to process those emotions and her feelings and that was just like life-changing for her to have that teacher help her be able to deal with what she was like with, the losing of her father. And she talks about there's two kinds of people. There's people that are bottlers, people that just stuff the emotions down. And then there's the people that are like brooders and they just like get mad and angry and like, but just like brood and like kind of like marinate in those feelings instead of like feeling them and then like letting it go. So I don't know, it's really good.
I like that. And it's funny because it's like, well, what does that have to do with business? But I mean, if we're like not in a good mindset, if we're bottling or we're brewing, is that what she said, brewing?
I think brewing or brooding.
Brooding.
Brooding
our emotions, like that's going to, it all comes out, we have like vibes, vibrations that we're putting out and that it does affect our business. So definitely like working through emotions actually is good for your business, because when you're in a good place mentally and when you are happy and when you are content and feeling confident, and you're not like bitter beneath or all this, then your business is going like to succeed as well. So it's amazing how all those like mindset things and feelings, they affect our business. It's so crazy.
So true. I'll share her TED Talk in Team Nailed It because it was really good. And
Okay.
It's just short and she talks, just like a little bit, but it's really powerful.
Yeah. And then Danica just commented and said, the best thing you can do is learn to feel the feels. I do this with my girls, ages 5 and 3, and walk them through how to find it and feel it in their bodies. Emotions can't hurt us.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Yes. I love that. Thanks for sharing, Stacy.
Welcome.
Anyone else want to share?
I can go.
Okay.
So on Audible, I read or listened to Do Less by Kate Northrup.
Okay.
And it was, I'm really bad at listening. I'll listen to like 10 at one time, 10 books at once. So I've like listened to it this like whole year.
Mm-hmm.
Re-listen to it, but it is about going through the woman's cycle and how to like schedule out your month to your cycle to be productive during each week, and when not to be productive and not feeling like you're a piece of crap because you didn't get a lot done this week, which is AKA the week of your period.
Right.
So, but
that's so interesting.
yeah, because she talks about how men have a 24-hour cycle. And so every day they can be productive the same hours every single day. And women, how we just have weeks where like, what is wrong with me? Why can't I get anything done? Why am I not motivated? And it has to do with your cycle. And then if you don't have a cycle, you go by the moon phases. And so weirdly enough, my cycle is lined up with the moon phase. So luckily, if you don't know what your cycle is or anything, you can just start off with the moon phases, and that tells you like what your productive level is. And so like looking at your calendar, maybe during those productive weeks, you like cram everything in, or like if you have a launch or something, unfortunately we have launches all month long. Seems like with Color Street.
Yes.
But
No problem.
with your team group, you can, base your week off like that. But I really enjoyed it. I want to listen to it again so I can get more out of it. But I really love that. Like not feeling bad.
Yeah.
During certain weeks and understanding, okay, so I'm okay to take it slow this week because I'm not going to accomplish anything, even if I push myself to.
Right.
So,
yeah. And like giving ourselves grace, because I think women are so freaking hard on ourselves. And it's like, it's okay to give ourselves grace and be like, you know what? It's not happening today, or it's not happening this week. And there's obviously a difference between giving ourselves grace and then just justifying things. But like, definitely, I think us women don't give ourselves enough grace. So, we're just so hard on ourselves. So yeah, I think that's such a great thing to consider. Stuff we don't really consider,
Mm-hmm.
And it's so true. Cause like my daughter and I are both the same, where we're like, I'm a fairly confident person, but during that week, I'm like, oh, like what, like, oh, I'm an awful person. Like I can't do anything right. You just like have all these self-doubts and,
and also like
things.
With our cycle and working out, that has a lot of effect too. Like you should start like a program the week the week you end, because that's when you're most like productive and like feeling good about yourself and stuff like that. So
interesting. That's so fascinating. Thank you for sharing.
You're welcome.
Anyone else?
I can go.
Okay.
Mine will be quick though, because I hear my daughter on the monitor. She just woke up from nap.
Oh, okay.
But no, mine was the effective network marketing leaders.
I've
I
heard
would say
those.
like any leader or any future leader should read that. I just learned so much about like I think when we're personally really motivated, we assume everyone is the same, which is
Right.
not the case.
Yeah.
And so just really learning how to, meet everyone at their goals. And, I don't know, I've been much more intentional about, meeting my stylist at their goals and trying to help them achieve their goals rather than where I want, where I see them getting or where I know they could get.
Right.
So, and then just, I don't know, learning different strategies to be more effective in like how you word things, just different things that I just felt like I learned a ton from it and was able to implement everything I was reading like immediately, which is always like, I love stuff that you can read and put it into that day. So,
what was the title again?
Freakishly Effective Network Marketing Leaders or Leadership, something like that.
Yeah, I have heard that one's really good. I think it's even in I think I might have bought it, but I haven't read it yet.
It's a good one.
Sweet. I am going to have to read that. Thank you for sharing.
Yep.
Anyone else want to share? We have like 7 minutes left. Also, did you guys vote for your ugly sweater? Nobody's voted yet. You got to vote.
I can go.
Okay.
So, I kind of hopped on late, so I'm just guessing that we're talking about personal development based on the last couple of people that have talked.
Yeah, we're talking about our favorite personal development or business development book in 2019.
Okay. So it actually wasn't a book. I use it's called the Nike Run app. And on there's different guided runs. So like you can be like, oh, I want to do a 5-mile run, or I want to do a 40-minute run or whatever. And they have what they call headspace runs, where it's basically kind of like listening to a podcast while you're running. And I was listening to one where it was Coach Bennett, which is like the main Nike coach. And then also, what's her name? English Gardner. She's like an Olympic athlete for the 100-meter dash. Her goal is to be one of the fastest women alive. And she's in there. It's very possible for her to do that. I'm like not even the fastest person in like Pocatello. I'm like, I can run and not die. That's my thing. But one of the things she talked about, and this has really stuck with me, is how everything that happens to us is for our benefit. And she grew up in Jersey, wrong side of the tracks. She's like, she goes, every bad thing that could ever happen to a professional runner has happened to her. She's torn her ACL. She didn't make the Olympic team the first time that she tried it. She's been homeless a couple of times. And she's like, but I look at it with this idea of everything that happens to me is for my own good. And I kind of took it in this way of like when we eat food, right? There's some things that are good for us that we enjoy eating. There's some things like this is delicious and it's nutritious for my body.
Yeah.
There are other things that are good for us that are nasty and gross. Like when I have to take that fish oil pill when I'm pregnant, that thing is nasty to choke down, but I know that it's good for me and I know it's good for the baby. Right.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think that's kind of the way to look at the experiences. And she was talking about how, the first time she applied for the team, she didn't make it. And she goes, now that she's on the team, now that she's got her gold medal, she's like, I look back and I'm like, I was not ready. Like, there's a reason I didn't make it on the team. If I had made it on the team then, I would have really hurt myself because I was not like, my mental space was not there yet. My mental game wasn't there. Physically, I was almost there, but I wasn't quite there. And anyway, and it was just a lot like, everything I've been learning about all year has kind of come down to this idea of everything that happens to me is for my own good. And if I can't see that yet, it just means I'm not done. Everything works out in the end. And if it's not worked out, it's just because it's not the end yet. And so that's been something that's really been powerful for me this year, that even when we're like stuck in these trials and things feel hard, it's like, okay, there's something positive that I'm supposed to either learn from this, or that this gives me, you know, even if it's just the idea of like, this sucked and this was hard, but now I have this openness and this compassion for people because I've been there, and it allows me to have that, you know what I mean? So
Totally. I love that so much. And I 100% agree with that. It's kind of like the quote that says, you know, things don't happen to you, they happen for you. Like, you know,
Yep.
hard things don't happen to you, they happen for you. So it's so true. Like, I feel like every trial I've learned so much from, and they've been like sort of a stepping stone to help me, you know, move forward and like grow as a person. And
Yep.
so, yeah, I totally agree. I'm so glad you shared that.
Thanks. I also highly recommend the Nike running app if you're training for that half marathon, because it's got like a running program on there. That's what I'm using to train for marathon. So we'll see how it goes.
Nice. Also, just an update, I'm not running the marathon because with intentionalism, I was like, you know what? I actually like, I like running, but I don't want to spend 2 hours a day running. Like, it wasn't a top priority. And so I was like, you know what? I'm okay with like, I think it's okay to say no to things that don't align with your priorities. So yes, I love running, and I'm okay to run for about half an hour a day, but I didn't want to put in the time and have it take away time from my family or my business to run, you know, to practice and do like a 1 hour run or a 2 hour run. And so I was like, you know what? I'm going to let it go, and I'm okay with that. So
I'm like, I'm going to Waco, Texas. I'm going to meet Joanna Gaines one way or another. And if it's by running that marathon that they do, that's what I'm going to do.
Go, girl. I love that. More power to you. I think it's amazing. Anyone that does marathon, I think it's incredible. Anyone that does halves, fulls, like, so amazing. So that's awesome, Danica. Anyone else? We have like 2 more minutes. Anyone else want to share? Oh, Diane.
Yeah, I was going to share mine real quick. So this is a book that is an older one, but it has a lot of good information in there. It's called Boundaries, and it's by Dr. Henry Cloud and Dr. John Townsend. And I don't know if any of you guys have ever read this, but basically what it is it's kind of talking about how we all take on way too many things on ourselves, like between being a mom and working and adding things like our side businesses and things like that, that we kind of overextend ourselves, and helping to teach you how to say no, kind of on the same vein you were just talking about the running and stuff, how to say no to things that aren't in your best interest or in the best interest of your family. So just a lot of good tips, and it breaks down like a lot of the myths of like, if I say no, it's going to hurt that person or it's going to hurt this person, and just showing you how it's hurting yourself more or it's hurting your family more by agreeing to do all these things, like for work or for church or for whoever, you know what I mean, whatever thing you're in. So not trying to take up a bunch of time, but it's a great book, so check it out.
Awesome. Thank you. And also, you're the winner of the Ugly Sweater Party. So you got this book, Own Your Everyday, which is also an amazing book. So congratulations, Diane. And thanks everyone for joining us. This was so fun. Continue reading personal development because it can truly change your life. So make it a habit to get like 10 minutes a day. And thanks, you guys. Have a great holiday, and we'll see you next week. Bye.
Bye.